This is Suburban On Air and Cohen in the City. Here is Mike Cohen.
It's already been a month since the election. I guess time flies when I'm not ripping out what's left of my pubes. Since Trump's victory, half the country is excited and the other half is still at home in the fetal position. Me, I'm coping by shutting off the news for a while and watching something a little cozier, like Who Killed John Benet Ramsey?
Well, every now and then I get to meet an idol, and Lewis Black certainly fits the mold. Lewis Black, first of all, thank you very much for joining me for this Suburban On Air interview.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So, Lewis, you are going to be in Montreal Saturday, March 22nd, 8 p.m. at the Olympia, and it's part of your Goodbye Yeller Brick Road, the final tour, Lewis Black. So, first off, you've been to Montreal often in your career, have you not?
Yeah, it's been pivotal in my career, and also if things had worked the way they should have worked. My tour went on. People were yelling, "My tour! Why are you doing all these dates? You said you were retiring." Blah, 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 blah. Well, the reason is I was waiting around. I wanted to work Toronto and Montreal, and those were supposed to be my last two dates, unless I played, and there was performances in New York, possibly.
Right.
Literally, my touring, and going from place to place to place, I was basically waiting to get the date so I could play there, because it was really, both of those places had been very pivotal. I wanted to play in Canada from the beginning of the time in which I thought, wow, I can actually get up there. And Montreal, between Just for Laughs, and then it was the Comedy Nest. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the first place that I really. I didn't play Toronto first. I played up in Montreal, and it was.
Well, we are honored.
So
what are you? Yeah, sorry. What are you going to do next? What is your game plan now when you stop touring? I know you do a lot of other things.
Yeah, well, I'll continue to be on The Daily Show. I've got another year.
Thank goodness.
So that's that until I guess they finally go, you're not loud enough, and then and I'll be. I'm interested in writing again, and
okay.
And the touring used to kind of work hand in hand, and now I just want to go and spend more time and focus on that. So I'll I want to write either something in fiction or one more book along the lines of the books that I wrote, and a play, at least and maybe a few plays. But I want to go back to writing. It's where I started, and I kind of want to go back to that. Also, I'll continue to do some shows from time to time. Every time I show up somewhere, they're going, "Well, you're not quitting." I go, "No, I'm not going to tour, so I'm not going to do 12,000. I'm not doing 150 shows. I'm not traveling from place to place." But there are certain places they go, you want to come back here. There's a club actually up in Cleveland that the guy got in touch because they're celebrating their 40th anniversary and wanted me to do a gig. And I said, yeah, I'll come in for the day, and that'll be fun. But there'll be that. And then I do a thing called The Rant Is Due, which is I read rants from anybody. I've read a lot of Canadian rants, and so I will continue to do that. And I also will do those. Do occasionally a live show where I will read the rants and send it out throughout the world, which is the way we used to do it. So
yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of rants, that's your style. Did you develop this kind of angry rant style at the beginning of your career? Because that's what you're known for, and in a very positive way.
Yeah, no, it's that thing. I stumbled on it after I tried all sorts of things, and I tried to be charming about this stuff. I tried to be nice. I tried to put it in some sort of other context. I'd wear this kind of outfit. I'd wear that. Nothing was working. And then, that I felt at home with and comfortable. And so a friend of mine said, the comic I know who was one night said, "Look, I'm on stage yelling, and I really not, and all of my act is none of it deserves to be yelled. It's kind of like a happy kind of comedy. The guy, he was one of the things he was kind of he had alopecia, so he was bald. He put plumber's helpers on his head and would yell and stuff. And so he said, when you go back on stage, he said, you're really angry. Yell. I want you to yell the whole act. And I went on stage, and I went, wow. And they went nuts. And I realized then, or a while later, that that's when I'm funniest. And that's the hardest thing for someone to find, really. That it takes a while to figure out what it is that where is it that your funny lands. And a lot of the times it's so personal that you don't want to do it, because if they don't like it, they don't like you.
Right, right. Well, speaking of rants, I'm sure you've been following the news. I know you're not a fan of Donald Trump, nor am I, nor really is I think anybody in Canada or half the United States. But have you been following what he's doing to Canada? How he's like starting an economic trade war with us and saying terrible things that we should become the 51st state because people are booing the national anthem. People are don't want to travel to the States. I mean, I've never heard this sentiment about the States because of him.
I know it's really. I mean, I have been following it because um, I always have had I've had a warm place here for Canada and all it. You're like us, but you remember the things like empathy,
Yeah.
and and you seem to be much more uh, inclined to try to want to help people, and so I always saw it as like, oh, it's like somehow you're you guys are up there actually doing some things we could learn from, and it's absurd to me to watch this, man. It's madness. What do you tell? I don't even care if it's Canada. You don't tell another country, and you shut up. You respect them. You respect the border. It's the longest border we have. What are you kidding me? And you guys are making better beer than we were for quite longer. Now you're good with your wine, so that's props to that. Lord knows I've tried enough of it. It's just so. And poutine. I mean, I could go on list the things that have given Joe beef. Seriously,
Yeah.
The Milosh, which I'd never eaten in before. I can go through the whole thing. You're gonna yell about one of the great countries in the world that has a sanity factor that makes us look like clinically we're nuts. I used to, the end of every act I ever did up there, we always ended with, you can see how insane we are. We're nuts. Whenever we get a really good leader, we kill them. Look at that group. I mean, Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy. Whenever we get somebody who might know what we're doing, we end up killing them. I said, so do me a favor. You watch how nuts we are, just for the sake of yourselves and for us. Invade us, and that literally has been the way I've ended every act that I've ever done in Canada, from one end of the country to the other. It's also, I mean, one of the things that I'd like to still kind of do is to go back, even after I've kind of said I'm not going to tour, but kind of go back and do another run across the country, whether I perform or not.
So you're in your Montreal act or your Canadian dates in the coming months. Can we count on some good Donald Trump material at your
Yeah.
shows?
Oh yeah. No, this is I do this rant cast, and
Yeah, I love it.
Today I was realizing I I've done a few since he's come. I tried to initially tried to find a way at it, and I can't find a way at it. I was basically saying everything that's coming out of his mouth is a punchline. Treat it. I can't do setups of this stuff. This stuff's already funny. You're picking Robert Kennedy.
Yes.
You're picking people who are not competent to run the positions they're running. And I'm supposed to, that's the joke, schmuck.
Yes.
Joke is that. That's the punchline. So I'm supposed to come up with a setup? No, I'm not doing that. Okay? He's already giving you the punchline. So stop whining about it and laugh at him. And so I did that for a week. And then I realized then so much stuff has been coming out. Like the business with his yelling at you guys in Greenland and tariffs like we're in the fourth century.
Yeah.
Like every country's got a Trojan horse and is coming
Yeah.
at.
Does he make your life? Does he make the life of a comedian easier because he's such like? I mean, Jimmy Kimmel. I think it's the best thing that ever happened to his show that Trump's back.
Yeah, no, and but it gets tiresome. I mean,
Yeah.
because it's lunacy. It's
Yeah.
like I'm going to make fun of crazy.
Yeah.
It's like you should take care of this person.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with it. That's the
No.
other. I
No.
literally, by the time hopefully I get to you guys, I will. I had 2/3 of my act went out the window. When I kind of I stopped, and then I'm getting back, and I'm going to be coming up and doing shows, and I realized all the stuff. The first like third of it, I could do it, but I could talk about books being banned, and I can talk about DeSantis and a bunch of the stuff occurring in Florida, but it pales in comparison.
Right.
This madness.
Right. So the Daily Show, everyone loves the Daily Show. Um, that played a big role in your career, did it not?
Oh yeah, no, it basically put me on the map. That and I can't give him enough credit. The Cohen show,
Right.
Brian, because I did a lot of
Yes.
stand up on his show.
Yeah, he's terrific.
Yeah,
So isn't it great having Jon Stewart back on the Daily Show
I never get to see him. So I mean, outside of seeing him on the
on
show,
TV? Yeah, because you're not your appearances are not when John's on the show.
oh yeah, because that would really then the television would go into flames. No, so I
Yes.
usually do. He does Mondays and I do Wednesday or Thursday.
Right. Right.
I'm getting to do a few more now, and that's been good. And
Yeah.
I think it's been good. It's been good, I think, for a few reasons. One, the energy he brings to it. Two, the focus, but also the fact because I had really been screaming about this before he came back.
Right.
If we had had the talent for quite some time, for those people who were our correspondents, to be able to host the show, and they finally did that, and that's a big step forward because
Yeah. Yeah. It's terrific. Inside Out, you've been in that animated two movies, I believe, and
right.
and what a surprise! You play the character Anger. How have you enjoyed that experience?
Well, that was wonderful. They're really it's what's amazing about that experience is that it's you don't usually work in something where you can see the creative process, especially if you do a movie. You don't really go in and see the edits, and you don't
Right.
really. It takes 5 years for them to do this. So I'm coming in, especially for the first one, where it was we're doing this, and then I come back, and then they go, oh, we changed that. Look at this. So that I would watch the arc of their work, and they're brilliant, and they really they get it and have a more so than most of the places. I've been lucky, but many of the places don't have the kind of respect that they have for performers, and those guys really really do.
Well, terrific. So Lewis Black coming to Montreal Saturday, March 22nd, 8 p.m. at the Olympia. More information in the description of this video. Thank you very much for joining me, and keep up the great work.
And one other thing that I'm very proud
By
of.
all means, go ahead. Yeah.
So one of the things that I was out doing press for Inside Out 2, and I discovered that they were they introduced my character is going to be walking around at Disney land out in Los Angeles. So
Okay.
my character will wander around out there, and so basically in the course of my career, I've become the Snow White of my generation.
Well, that was a bonus segment from Lewis Black. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.